lately.
Hello there, Vanagon addicts. It's Ken Wilford here at Vanagon. This might be one of my final videos from down in Belize. We're fixing to come back to the U.S. tomorrow, and I'm always sad when that happens because I love being down here. I love the area and the scenery and the people and our friends here. Dave and Amy have been just amazing hosting us for 2 weeks here. Got to do some fishing, got to do some serious beach time and swimming and all that good stuff. So this is the final, motor install here. It's been doing really good. It's a little bit weak on power, but a lot of times that has to do with break-in and stuff. Usually at least 500 miles you're going to be having break-in before you actually get your full power. So I'm hopeful on that. I mean, we used the stock cylinders, the stock pistons, even the original rings. And you can see underneath it's nice and dry. It's been doing good. That way I did find a minor coolant leak on one of the long coolant pipes at the end. They're the original plastic ones, and so I think we're going to be replacing them in the future. They're getting a little tired. So it's been doing great. And so I'm very happy. The owner's happy with how it all turned out. I guess let me start it up so you guys can hear what it final sounded like. We had the original startup, right, which sounded kind of rough because, when you first start these, when you have an engine build or you haven't ran it for a long time, they clack a lot. Sorry about the bad camera work. Alright, I'm just turning the air off. He also needs a new starter. So this is the final, what the engine's running like. It's running pretty smooth. I mean, a little bit of a lumpy idle. Again, this is, could be because we need a little bit more fine tuning with the new injectors, the new aftermarket injectors. I will probably, mess with that maybe the next time I come down. But as far as running and driving wise, it's running and driving perfectly fine the way it is. And you can see the tailpipe, I mean, it's not getting sooty or anything. So, I mean, I'm real happy with, the final product, how it turned out. And I'm sorry, for you guys' sake, there wasn't a whole lot more drama that happened. But I'm not sorry for my sake. Or Dave's sake, the owner's sake. I'm videotaping also his mileage on here, which is saying like 34,000. That's a replacement speedo. So that's not original. I think the original odometer said 177 and it was broken. Alright, so here is the old engine. This engine was running good, had decently good power, but it was overheating, and it would also build up pressure in the system. And I mean, this engine is a GEX rebuild, and I tried to show it in the video yesterday. You might be able to see it in this one. In here you can see lines that are going this way. Okay, that is because the motor was overheated and the piston head expanded and started rubbing against the cylinder wall like it's not supposed to rub at all. This is a water-cooled engine, so again, it's supposed to be temperature controlled by the water cooling. And yeah, there has been multiple overheat events on this motor. So the guy was telling me the GEX, his dad bought it and put it in, and then it actually had a problem initially because the bottom seals around the cylinders weren't sealing. So he got a hold of GEX and said, hey guys, I'm having this major issue. And they're like, no, you're not. That's fine. We always do that. So his dad had to take the motor back apart, reseal the bottom of the cylinder liners somehow. You can see he used a copious amount of this red sealant on everything. And it worked for a while, but we wound up with, this engine's been down here for probably about 15 years now. It's probably got about 40,000 Belize miles on it, which is like 150,000 of any place else miles. And, when the owner wasn't home, which was a lot, he would have friends come down. They would drive the van and they would call and be like, hey man, this hose blew off, or this bad thing happened, or that bad thing happened. And we just pulled over and let it cool down and then drove some more. And that happened like a bunch of times. So, you can see here this head gasket. The bottom section was starting to come apart. Okay, I mean, that's again age and hitting, overheats multiple times. I was hoping that we could just, pull the heads off, have them checked, tested, cleaned, and then put them back on. And then this would be, the backup engine if something happened, just in case, like the just in case engine. The problem is, having to do pistons and cylinders, it'd be a big project. It'd be just like the project we just videoed for you guys before we came down here, except instead of doing it in my nice shop in New Jersey where I have all my tools, I'm doing it down here with very limited tools. You guys, I did a video on ripping this thing down yesterday, and probably some people are like, Ken, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? When you're in a third world country, and you don't have all your tools, you just have to improvise and do the best you can do. So that's what we do. All right, so that's what's going on with this van, guys. I'm hoping that this new motor we put in is going to last for at least another 15 years. The other one lasted. Again, this car for a long time sat and was used occasionally. Now it gets used a lot more because the guy lives here full time. But just being in another country, it's very hard on vehicles. And here they have these big speed bumps, speed humps, speed pyramids is what sometimes, like the Mayan pyramids are back, okay, because you come to this thing and you have to climb up this thing and then go, and then there's even another one. There's like one that's like 2 levels now. That's a speed bump in front of this one resort. I'm like, why do that? But that's how they police your speed down here. They don't have, that much of a police force for traffic control, so instead they use speed bumps, speed humps that are huge, and all of that is taking a toll on the car. And then also the roads themselves are made out of these little tiny stones instead of asphalt like we're used to. That's part of their asphalt. And so you're driving over them and they're constantly like rattling everything, vibrating everything. It really is like the car is on like a test track, from like Volkswagen put it through back in the day to see how long everything would last before it fell apart. A lot of this seems like that. But anyway, so that's going to be it for this van on this trip. Thank you guys for coming along. Please like, share, subscribe. And we're going to see you guys in the next video. When I get back home, we have a whole nother motor that we're going to rebuild all the way down to nothing. Now, one thing I also wanted to mention was on this side. So he was having this coolant pressurization problem. I was pretty sure it was a blown head gasket. When you tried to pull this head off, this sleeve is stuck right here. And a lot of times that's why, because that's where the pressurization leak was happening. So you can kind of tell, like you look at these 2 cylinders here, they're nice and black. You look at these 2 in here, they're nice and black. When I pull this head off fully, I got to get a pry bar and pop it off there all the way. This one stuck piston, this one is going to be clean. Okay, why? Because antifreeze is an amazing cleaner. and it's going to have cleaned all the carbon off of that because antifreeze was getting into that cylinder because that cylinder head gasket has blown. Okay, so now the new one, we're not having that issue. It's running right in the middle for temperature. Even when you're got the AC on and you're really, flailing it down the road, it's staying right in the middle. We did actually have a brand new Bear OEM Volkswagen Bear radiator that I brought down here like 10 years ago. That was sitting on the shelf, and I mean that was great because you can't even get those anymore. So we popped that in there along with the engine. I didn't record that, but we did that, and now the temperatures are really, right in the middle, and we're very happy with the performance. So that's it, guys. We will see you guys on the next video, and continue to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for our members. Let me see if I can remember all of them. I can't, so I'll put them at the beginning. All right, guys, we'll talk to you guys later, and have a great day.